name is Zainab Yahya, and I am the secretary to the foundation, Mr. B's Educational Foundation. And thank you all for joining in for this session. We appreciate your presence here. We'd also like to say thank you to our panelists who has um offered to share their knowledge with us. And I would want to say to our participants that there is a lot to gain from here. I've asked two more persons, I've asked Abdul Wahab, and Khadija has also said her own parts that they all want to. I'm sure you all want to apply for this scholarship. That is why you are here. And you have certain questions, you have certain things you want to clear, certain doubts you want to clear. That is why we have the scholars here to help us clear it. So please pay attention. When you have questions, you can note them down or put them in the chat box. I'm sure our panelists would do justice to that. And I'm very sure that all of the questions you have, everything you intend to know about the scholarship would all be addressed today. So having said that, we can see our scholars here. We have three amazing men and a beautiful lady. So I would like to set some safety rules for us so we can all enjoy the session without anybody entering into anybody's business. So one, I would like us to be aware of our environment. Let us ensure that we are in an environment that is very quiet, distraction free, so we can enjoy everything that is being said with no noise in the background. We should also ensure that we keep our volume at a safe level. It's not blurring handhold. As excessive high volumes, it's not good for us. Well, especially when we're using our hands free. And we should also mute our mic when we are not speaking. Please mute your mic while you're not speaking. And you should only turn on your video when you are requested to turn on your video. And you should please do not watch while driving. And if you intend to, you use your hands free. That means you're not watching a video. It's not advisable to be watching a video and be driving as well. So that's for our safety rules. I also like to add that this session is being recorded, and you can check our YouTube page at Mr. B's Educational Foundation to watch the video afterwards, because no matter how you want to write fast, you cannot finish writing everything. I'm going to be sharing some links in the chat box that has PDFs on what the scholarship is all about, the different departments in which you can apply for, and more details, the deadline, the requirements. I'm going to share it in the chat box, so you can do well to click on the link and download the PDF. And like I said earlier, you can check our YouTube page at the end of this session, latest like tonight, to watch a recap of this session. So we have our agenda here, and one of the agendas is to tell you who and what we do at Mr. B's Educational Foundation. We'll be having a brief intro of what the scholarship is about. We'll be having a panel session and a question and answer session, and we'll also be sharing with you our upcoming events for the foundation. Okay, so for Mr. B's Educational Foundation, I'm going to be sharing some of our achievements and who Mr. B's Educational Foundation is all about. So Mr. B's Educational Foundation is a registered non-governmental organization with Nigeria Corporate Affairs Commission, and it was established based on 3 acts of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That's the SDG. And we are passionate about Goal 1, Goal 4, and Goal 17. Which Goal 1 happens to be no poverty. Goal 4 happens to be good and quality education. Goal 17 happens to be partnership to achieve the goals, which you can all attest to, which is Goal 4, which is why we are bringing this to you. And some of our achievements are: we've rewarded over 70 students from 4 government-owned secondary schools within 5 years for their academic excellence. We've empowered over 100 women with vocational skills as a source of livelihood. We've trained teachers from 5 government-owned schools. We've commenced the second batch of mentorship program. We've supported students and young professionals with employment and scholarship opportunities. We've partnered with organizations like Society Petroleum Engineers, Elita Consult, Lagos State Youth Ambassadors, Barian Fashion, Selfless Service Foundation, and more to come. This is just to mention a few about the achievements that we've done we've had in Mr. B's Educational Foundation. And like I said earlier, I've given a brief intro who and what we do at Mr. B's Educational Foundation. And I can so I would tell you that there's a lot going on in Mr. B's Educational Foundation. You can check our social media handle. We're on Instagram, it's the same name, Mr. B's Educational Foundation, on Instagram or LinkedIn. You can check there to see some of the activities that we do, and you might likely want to partner with us. Having said that, we would be starting the session, but I won't be doing that. We have our moderator in person of the founder of the foundation, Mrs. Mistura Yusuf. She'll be handling the panel session, and she's here and ready to take you on a very beautiful journey. And I'm sure our panelists are also here to answer all of your questions. So please sit back, get your pen and a book to jot down everything that is being said, because there is no way you can retain all of the knowledge you're going to be getting from here in your head without jotting things. So on that note, sit back and enjoy this beautiful session. Thank you so much. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's from my own end.
Oh, apologies. I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I can hear you now.
Okay. I said, okay, just to recap, thank you very much for hosting this session and for that beautiful introduction. Okay, so just as you said earlier, we all have our reasons for being here, which is to gain from the scholars. And as Khadija has said, it's the best way to learn is to learn from those who have actually experienced this. And that's why we have these scholars here who have benefited from this scholarship and they were able to navigate their ways. So we intend to tap from their knowledge. So the DAAD scholarship, which is mostly called that, the DAD, like it's an organization. Then they have like several scholarships. It's actually a German word. Then the abbreviation is the DAD. That's the Deutsche Akademische. Don't let me go too far. So that actually translates to German Academic Exchange Service. It's the world largest funding organization for the international exchange of students and researchers. So it's actually like association that embodies universities, lecturers, and some students organization. So one of their major tasks is to internationalize the German educational system. So they do like this exchange. They partner with lots of organizations like PTDF in Nigeria, Erasmus. I'm sure some of us know about Erasmus, where there's like this exchange. You get to study in different European universities and several others. Like they have several partnership with different organizations, and there are like 180 different scholarships. There's the EPOS-DAAD, which is the one we are talking about today, and there are several others. If you go online, you would get to see all of the scholarships they have. Amazenia said earlier, she'll be sharing the links in the chat box about this scholarship, how to apply, the several deadlines, and all of it. If you know someone that really wants to study in Germany or have interest in development related courses or how to give back to their country through development and the likes like that, you need to actually tell them to join this session because it's going to be well packed and we're going to get a lot from our panelists. So the meet our panelists for today. We have Joshua Odeyemi, who is a 2024 scholar. I'm not going to be reading their profiles because it's going to take a whole lot of time and we want to manage this time as much as we can. So you can go, if you really want to know about them, you can go back to our LinkedIn page. We posted their profiles there so you can check and know their specialties. So we have Joshua Odeyemi. He's a 2024 scholar. Please let's put on our videos so it can be engaging. Sorry to the panelists, not the participants. We have Omobolanle Adebola, who is a 2024 scholar as well. and Syed Shah is also a 2024 scholar. And we have Ridwan Alabi, who is a 2022 scholar. And Ridwan, thank you very much for joining despite the time difference. We really appreciate your presence here. I can't imagine what time it is.
Oh my
But
goodness. Yeah, I mean it's quite late already. Like I have to stay up late. It's 3 a.m. already.
oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We
Yeah,
really
that's okay.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can go straight into
Uh,
business, why we're here. Okay,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think
what's that?
yeah, so yeah, I was just like I just noticed like we also have like a senior DAD scholar with us in
On the
person of
call?
yeah, in the session, so like in person of Mr. Abiba Jagbe. So I feel
Oh,
like
okay.
I think like it might also like benefit from his experience like during the discussion.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. So thank you very much, Mr. Abi, for joining us. Can you unmute yourself to just say something to be sure your audio is okay in case we need you to contribute?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think my audio is fine.
Yes, 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 it is. Thank you very much. Okay, so
Uh,
straight to
I
business.
also like to say something. I think I can see a current a newly awardee also in the meeting of in person of Mrs. Adenike John. So she's also is the 2025 scholar.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think she got it because I shared the meeting link with a potential scholars group. I think she saw the link there. So she just won the scholarship this year. So uh, like
Congratulations and thank you for joining. Thank you very much. You see, when we say this session is actually fully packed, you guys can see that we have scholars, we have people willing to share their experience. And so please, I encourage you to actually listen and gain a lot from this. So if you have questions, you can actually put them in the chat box. Okay, so for the panelists, what I we think we can do is to manage time. If you see some questions in the chat box you feel you have answers to, you can actually just type them because it might not be easy to go over all of these questions. So we can just benefit. And I will just try as much as possible to maybe read out these answers if it's something we've not attended to, because the chat would not show in the recorded session on YouTube. So just to help us manage that. Okay, so right, I'm going straight into it. Yes, we all know the EPOS-DAAD scholarship is like specific towards development, like development related. You can see there are like specific courses, not just all courses. So how did you as a scholar, I would go with Joshua. Okay, let's start with Joshua. So how did you as a scholar select the program that best aligned with your professional goals and the development context of your own country, which is Nigeria?
okay. First of all, I would like to appreciate my boss, my mentor, Lidwan, because he actually mentored me for this program, and also in person of also Abib Ajagbe. They are also part of the people who mentored me during the course of my application. So I think the most important thing for me is I was maybe in a way lucky to find a course that is what directly in my line of study. I studied applied geology, and I exactly have a program that is hydrogeology, and also working in the hydrogeology field, and of course, water and environmental issues are everywhere. So I think it was quite easy for me to select a program like the tropical hydrogeology and environmental engineering course. So I feel, of course, it aligns with solving water and environmental issues in my country, Nigeria. So I think I was able to of course select the course because obviously it is the course that actually align perfectly to my career and professional goals.
Okay. Omobolale, do you have same experience or yours was quite different?
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me here today. I would say it's quite similar, but there are differences in the similarity. I have been in the educational sector for a while, and I've also been a researcher where I did research on development in Nigeria. Particularly, my undergraduate research results actually propelled me towards looking for graduate schools that are development related because it was related to the mortality rates, nutrition, lack of nutrition, and other things. And I think that was what prompted me for development economics as graduate studies. And yes, I looked for courses that were aligned to my interest, and I found this.
Okay, thank you. I would want to ask give like a twist into it. I know, yes, we are coming from our own perspective, but let me use someone else as example. Joshua said something around he studied geoscience and it's kind of related to his. So let's say, for example, I studied something like maybe chemical engineering, and there's nothing directly into chemical engineering, for example, but maybe I can see some things around maybe water resources or things like that. So how do you think one can tailor my application towards this?
Okay, thank you for the question. So it all boils down to passion and interest. If for an individual you have a passion for, let's say, water sciences, and it's not really a program in the DAD in the DAD list, I'm sure there is a way that it can be tweaked together. Okay, so let me use myself as an example. In my undergraduate thesis, I worked on health economics. Health economic, like it was totally different from development, but I tied health and development together. And before now, I also did a master's back in Nigeria also, where I worked on health and energy economics. So, an environmental rather. So, there is a way by which you can tie your passion to what you want to do. And that is where the place of motivation letter comes in. Once you have talked about what you've done before, your academics, your past experiences, your work experiences, then there is a particular paragraph where the applicant can tie past passion to future research goals, and this marries together into what the DAD actually wants. And once they see that you fit into their criteria, then you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. Siet, do you have contribution towards this?
So first of all, thank you all and very warm morning to all. I really appreciate what you are doing. It is really a great work, especially for people coming from developing countries like us. So this is, I really appreciate this. So already I think discussed what we should do, and for me, in my case, it was related to my field. So I did my bachelor's in the same field, quite the same field, and then I worked also in the same field. Although I had some other works in between, but my most of my work was in the same field, and then I applied. Also, it was very relevant to my field of studies. So that was a plus point for me, and it was quite easier for me, to justify why I'm applying and why they align with my goal. So as uh, the other now she discussed that, sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. So you discussed that, like, if you are applying for different thing, then you have to have a good justification. But if you are applying for the same field, that doesn't need too much justification. That only need your motivation and why you want to pursue more, why you read and why you want to know more on the same field. So that I would say.
Okay, thank you. Our mentor, read one. I think you can add something, then I would follow up another question afterwards.
Oh, please, like I'm not your mentor. If you don't mind, Joshua. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm really glad to be part of the discussion. So a lot has been said already. So the only thing I think I can add is that even though you study a particular program, then it's also depend on what you do. maybe post-graduation as well. Because like part of the DAD requirements is that you must have at least 2 years of work experience, right? So for example, now let's say like because one thing I realized is like the first time I was going through DAD brochures, like looking at some of these programs. So you might actually like see a lot of programs that are quite aligned with your background and academic qualifications. So you just have to be paying attention, like what you could do, I think, is looking at the details of each programs. So that way you might be sure if that particular programs actually align with your background or academic qualification, because you need to make sure like okay, those two things are actually like in line with whatever you want to actually like apply for. So I think that's all I have to say for now. I mean,
Okay, so that just shows that it's very important to marry your course, your field, your interest, and the experience you've had to actually make you one of the best applicants. Okay, I see you've actually answered some of the other questions I have in mind around the 2 years experience and all. So, and also Siad said something around the experience. So, does that mean this experience has to particularly be related to discourse? Like, I don't know how to put this question, but we know the way this I'll still go back to using myself as an example, saying I studied chemical engineering and maybe I did not work in a direct field that is related to all of these courses. So do I still stand a chance, or I'm in a big competition with someone that actually has this direct experience?
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I think of course the work experience is quite important, but also how you present is very important as well. Like I've seen people who I know somebody who had his bachelor's in urban regional planning and is doing something on geography. So it may not be directly what you studied, but how you present it and how you can express your career goals and professional goals. Do you
Okay.
understand? And
Yeah.
also, you have to also understand that in as much as you're in a pool with a lot of amazing profiles, so other things will also make you stand out. It could be, okay, for example, let's say, for example, I studied chemical engineering. Of course, if you study chemical engineering, you can apply for our program, which is hydrogeology and environmental engineering. But you have to, of course, let us know that, okay, you can do well. It could be maybe you've taken some extra courses in the field of hydrogeology and environmental engineering. It could also be that maybe you have some volunteering experience, or maybe you have done a lot of research work in the new field. So you have to like, in as much as, oh, fine, you have the work experience, you have maybe good academic or strong academic background. It is also very important that you also bring all these things together, because of course there are a lot of people who, even for example, I did not have a first class in geology, but of course there are people who might have applied with a first class. So you have to make it uh, as more competitive than other people. So that would make you look into maybe, oh, I've done something else in that field. I've particularly worked in that field, like maybe something else like some research, maybe some volunteering and the likes. So I think it's not just enough to have the work experience as such, but of course also have some other things like maybe the research and the likes. I think that's quite
Okay.
insightful.
So interests is very important. Yeah, so you said something about volunteering. Now, asking the question, does a volunteering experience count as work experience? Like, I'm sure we know volunteering, like, okay, yes, I'm volunteering with maybe several organizations or one particular organization. It's not really a full-time job. So does that count as this, or it has to really be a full-time job experience that counts as the 2 years experience?
Uh,
Mm,
so
okay.
should I answer? Okay,
I think I can
yes,
go. Yeah.
like the volunteering thing is, firstly, you have to have a full-time work. That is, that should be your first option. You have to do it. Either if you haven't done it for 2 years and you have only few months left, you can't, do that, and you have to apply, and then you have voluntary work. But the volunteering work should be, it should be work. You should show that what have you done with your volunteering to the development goal, what actually you have done. You have you have trained people, or you have motivated a group towards sustainability, or you have launched a cleaning, cleanliness something sessions, or that should be firstly clearly explained, and they should tell that you should impress the people that, yeah, you have done really a work, not just by sitting or just by attending some meetings. It should show that what you have done, so that would work. But if you haven't done any work and just you're showing 2 years volunteering, I think that will not make sense. So yeah, some window is there, I think, for volunteering. Please, can you edit it?
Okay. I think Omobalali wanted to say something, or was it Ridwan?
Oh, yes, I wanted to add something that for the EPOS-DAAD program, 2 full years of work experience is needed. And from my knowledge, most volunteering positions are not for that long duration. So it may not fully count as a work experience, but it can count while writing your story. So you could link it to leadership positions, you could link it to having acquired soft skills, you could link it to why you are interested in development related issues, maybe because you did a volunteering position with children that had sickle cell, or with people who wouldn't have enough, who are not really educated, and that has propelled you into having a volunteering position. However, the 2 full years work experience with a particular development-related organization is an important requirement.
Okay. Okay,
So sorry, I have to say
yeah.
something because I mentioned the volunteering thing. So I think, I don't know, but I think, of course, Bolali has said it, that it's obviously a full-time 2 years experience and work experience. But I'm just talking about people who maybe had a previous have a previous profile and is applying, I'm applying for a program that is not so related. Sometimes it could be the volunteering could be an edge. Do you understand now? So, but I'm not so sure that the volunteering experience counts for the 2 years work experience.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so this is going to be like more like a personal experience. So I'll start with like you have to share your own personal experience. So I'll start with read one. How early did it take you to start preparing your documents, and what timeline do you think you can actually advise?
Okay. I would say I started very early because if I remember so well, the first time I heard about DAD post program, so it was actually from a friend. So a friend encouraged me to apply. So what I did was I checked through the DAD program brochures, like I went through all the programs because at first I was really confused, like which particular program really aligned with my background and professional experience. So I started very early. So I would say my application, like drafting like the letter of motivation actually took a while. It's not like I did not have like a draft. I had a draft, but I kept on revising it, like reviewing it. So for me, I started very early, like it took about like 3 to 5 months before the deadline. Yeah, I started very early. Yeah, because one thing I would say actually strengthened my application was that I gave a lot of time to prepare my application, like drafting my letter of motivations. Because like if you start early, then you have a lot of time to review your application. Like you won't have to like submit a generic or rush application. So in short, I would say like, I mean, start early, 3 to 5 months before the deadline.
Okay. Nice. But I think there are several deadlines for different courses also,
Yep.
from what I see. Okay, so that means with respect to your preferred course, you should actually start very early. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Does the same apply to everybody, or I guess some people have superpowers?
I have something to say about starting early. It is very great to start early, but I've also seen some applicants and sometimes rush to submit early as well. So I don't know. We always have this conversation with Ridwan and Abib. I always say I don't think there's any award for you to submit early. Like I've seen somebody who said that I submitted about 4 months to the deadline. I was like, why? So in as much as you want to like submit early, I don't think there's any award for you to submit earlier than expected. So take your time. Like you said, you worked on about 5 months because there's no perfect document. Yeah. But it is very important as well to always take your time. Look, sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night to check your letter of motivation that, come on, is this thing still, is it enough to make
Yeah.
me win this scholarship? Like, am I sure?
I
Do you
mean,
understand now? So I think it's also like you say, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So
yeah.
it's good
I
to
mean,
like.
I think I can relate with that because I think was it like 2 days ago, like someone reached out to me, like she has actually applied like I think last year. So she wasn't selected and she felt maybe because like she submitted very late, that's why she was not selected. So she messaged me like 2 days ago and she was like, okay, each one like my application is ready. I want to submit now. I said, why? Like, don't submit now. Take your time. Like, you still have a lot of time for the deadline. I even advise like, okay, I think you will do well if you join this kind of discussions, but I think like you gain a lot of things before you submit your application. So like Joshua said, I mean, it's quite important that you start very early, but you do not really need to rush. Like, I mean, there is no, let me say there is no really timeline, like apart from the deadline. So if you submit early, I do not think that will actually like add any point or influence the selection process. To the best of my knowledge, I do not think so.
Okay. So, Sia, did you have to apply to just one? Because I think you can apply to more than one. So, did you have to apply to just one and you got it, or you maybe like tried three different courses or so?
So first, I will add to Joshua what he said. Do not apply too early. What I would say, I would agree with him, and I won't prefer to just apply 3 months before the deadline, neither the night of the deadline. So I would go in the last or the second last week of the deadline to submit my application. But before that, for me, application is a process. It's not like just 3 months time you do that. I don't know about other countries, but back in my country, you have to do your assessment, you have to do the verification things and everything. These all are part of your scholarship. If you have applied a very good, you have drafted a very good motivational letter, you have reviewed it, you have done everything, and you are very ready. At the end, you knew that your documents are not verified or they are not attested. So I so for that you have to just start. If you just want to get a scholarship, a DAAD or other scholarship, you have to be very proactive. You have to start verifying your documents, you have to verify gathering your documents, you have to do everything, every work you have to do. Submission is not a big thing, but the background work is very important. So that you have to start very early. And the question you asked about applying for two or more, I think you can apply, yes, for more than two courses. But since the application process and the selection process is, it is very competitive. So what I would suggest, it's just my suggestion, that if you try for everything, you cannot do one thing well. So you just go for one thing, you just research. The bad thing about us is that every little bit of thing is written in the description of the course. We don't read that. Either we just read it and just go through it. It's not reading. We don't understand that. And yeah, it's very difficult to understand. So what if you really want to understand the thing is, you have to read it and you have to then consult with that scholar or other person, senior from you, your professor or anyone, to understand it. Understanding English is easy, but understanding the thing they are required there is difficult thing. It seems just it's written in a simple English, but it's not like that. If you truly understand each and everything in the process, then I think it will be easier for you to do. And there, the thing which are given in the description, you have to follow them. That's very important. So yeah, you can apply for more than one course. Which I really don't know because I only applied for one, but I know that you can apply, but I don't know how can you apply for that. So therefore, I would suggest in my experience that just go for one course, read it, and prepare yourself very well, and then apply for that.
Okay, thank you. Can Abib come in here?
Yeah, can you hear me perfectly?
Yes, I can do a little background noise, but it's fine.
Okay, yeah. I think it is stated that you can apply to more than one program, but the issue is there's a specific DAD letter that you must explain why you apply for those two programs, which sometimes make it very difficult. Although I've seen some people win more than one DAD EPOS scholarship. I have a friend that won one in photogrammetry and also won the other one in geography of environmental risk and human security. But sometimes it is very dangerous and very risky because you have to show DAD that you deserve to be in one program and you deserve to be in the other program. So I sometimes advise people to actually look at the program that has like the best strength that they can play to. So just make sure that you focus on that one. For some people have actually gone through the process of applying to more than one. But I mean the issue is that you have to state categorically why you are applying to other programs as well. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's more like shooting yourself in the leg if you decide to. Okay, so I think we could just look out for the one that works best. Omabalale, do you have like a counter opinion or something?
No, I think I agree with whatever they say. I apply to just one school and I put my whole into one school. So yeah.
Okay,
I think
okay.
I think I've seen
I
someone who
think
applied for 3 programs and said they got the 3. So I don't know.
Wow.
But
I know, right?
yeah, but like Habib said, I think because there's also a place where the DAD tells you to like tell them
You
which one you're picking for the first choice, the
yeah.
second choice, and the third choice. And you also have to note that you have just one letter of motivation for the 3. So
Yes.
now I don't know how competitive some of those programs are because if you're applying to 3 competitive programs, like for example, our program is quite competitive because it's if you study geology, geosciences, most times you want to lean to that to the program. So I don't know if you're in a particular competitive program that you feel like, come on, why are you making no second choice? They may not actually like, you know what I'm trying to say? They may not actually
Hmm.
consider you. So I think it's also very important to like have
Yeah,
put your
I,
best in maybe one or two if
yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah.
I think
Wow,
for
I would
most
also say that
yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
I think for most
they're saying that the men, chasing two rabbits catch neither. So what I would say, like, yeah, I mean, going with one is, I think, in my perspective, is better, and doing their best is good, and then it will make your chance more.
Hmm.
I agree with that. I mean, I think most applicants, most of us, like I think we selected one program. I think
Okay. I think that's a good point to note. Okay, so now when writing I know we've said things around the motivational letter and the likes, and when we talk about development courses, most times now everybody is going the SDG ways, talking about sustainable development goals. So do you have to like tie your motivational letter or your CV towards these goals, or you just expressed yourself really? Like, is that like a tip, or what do you think it's a tip or like an added advantage? So who should go first? Maybe Omobalandi.
Okay, thank you for that. I mean, SDG is the reigning thing now, maybe until after 2030, when we have other set of goals. I think it's important to really relate it to one of the SDG goals that speaks so well to you as an individual and to your program, because you're coming from a developing country, and most developing countries have at least 2 SDG problems. So if yours fit into one of those or 2 of those, then link it together. I've always been an advocate for good education, quality education, SDG 4. So you're going to see me say SDG 4 advocate, SDG 4. When I was writing my letter, my dear, I switched to health because I don't want to do something around or going back to do education, like really like that. But I just want to focus on the macro goal, and that is health. I want to work on health and also connect it to SDG 4. So health came first before education for me. So do whatever works for you in your letter. I mean, just do you. Express, yeah. That works. Thank you.
Okay. Any other inputs?
Okay, I think I agree with what Mobali said. Of course, like there is no general way of writing like a letter of motivation. But for me, like on based on my experience, like it's always good like if you start off like maybe with a problem statement, right? Like if you look at it like you said, so if you're actually like applying from a developing country, definitely like you have two or more like SDG goals that you are partnering in your country. So if you would like start your problem, I mean your letter of motivations, like using that as your problem statement. So I think it can also like help you like structure your motivation. So you can actually tell them like what is motivating you, what is pursuing your interest in this kind of like programs, and how you think like okay, you could actually like contribute to this problem like you are facing in your country, like how you can actually like solve them. So I think I agree with what you said. Like it's actually like I mean very important like you start with like I mean SDG problems.
Okay, so I'll tweak the question a little before the next person will take it. So, is there like a structure? Like, I think some scholarships will tell you the exact thing they want to see in your motivational letter. So, is there like a structure you would advise? Maybe I know like there are loads of motivational letters out there. You go on YouTube, you go on several stuffs. Everybody has their way of doing this thing, but you guys have actually gotten this scholarship. So and from maybe the discussion you've had with one or two other scholars that have gotten it, is there something that it's really like something catchy, something really interesting you feel needs to be pointed out in your motivational letter? And I think there should obviously be a restriction in the number of words. You can't just continue writing till tomorrow. So what's that thing you think would help their application stand out in their motivational letter?
Okay, I would like to say something. Um, while applying for any scholarship or applying to any position, there's always what they require from you. And of course, if you check the DAD EPOS website or something, you would see a particular place where they ask you what they expect to be in the motivation letter. There's also, I think they said maximum of two pages or thereabout. But of course, there are things specifically that they say, okay, of course, you may be a newbie applying for it, but for the scholarship, of course, this is what we want. Because you have to understand that in as much as I don't know about some programs in our program, I think it starts everything passed through the school before going to the DAD itself. And the DAD told us that they themselves they read the motivation letter by themselves before they choose who they want to select for the scholarship. So I think anybody applying for the DAD scholarship, go to the website. There's a particular, I'm very sure about that. There's a particular place where they put what they expect from you while you're applying for the EPOS-DAD scholarship. So anybody who wants to like write a motivation letter should check after maybe if you have your own draft or we have your own sample or your own, there are a lot of templates online. Ensure that you also go to the DAD website, check what the DAD require from you and check if all those things are already in your own formats or templates.
Okay.
So yeah, I would also like to add to this, and I'm really agreeing what you are saying. Having said that, the scholarship application, if we now see, especially in current era with the chat GPTs and everything, it's very difficult to then make your scholarship stand out because everyone can one can just make a good motivational letter. So in this case, and secondly, what I would say that there are thousands of applications coming in for a program from all around the world. So There is, I think, no human being who can check every scholarship motivation letter. So the first and most important thing is how your motivation letter will be selected for the next level, and that is done through. I think I have also discussed, by the way, with some of the people in the program, and I think it's also for general programs, through their programs, that on the first step they are selected through some AI thing. They are selected through keywords. So you have to first read the description of your program. You have to take out the keywords from the description of your program, and also the emerging words. That's very important. Especially, for instance, I would talk about, I'm in the United Nations University, Geography of Environmental Risk and Human Security. So in this geography, the disaster was, defined differently 10 years back. Now it's defined differently. The sustainable development goal, there are green energy coming, there is blue energy coming, there is, gray energy, hydrogen, everything, renewable energies. So these are part of the program. The bigger, the important word, disaster environment, and inside these disaster environment there are special words, specific words that should be, your framework while you are in your application, in your CV, in your other, the recommendation letter by your teacher, by your employer, everyone. There should be these some very important words, so the system will catch that words, and then you will be selected for the next level. So the most important thing is to be selected for the next level where they will review. I think they cannot review more than 100 application, or 200 or 300, you can say. So that's very important. And then, the application should be, for every program, there is written that your application should follow this. You have to do on exactly that way. If you follow, and then you have to also, put yourself, your story into the application. For instance, in my case, I came from an area, and I myself, I've been affected from the disaster. So I said that, this was the starting point. I really wanted to know about disaster, and then I get my admission, and then I try towards the disaster management to the climate change, and then I studied that in bachelor's, and after that I also worked in there. I also volunteered in there. So it shows that, really you have some story there, and you have problem there, and you are putting your story into the framework of what they need, and then you are playing around that, and then you are connecting your professional career, your volunteering, your ambitions, your goals. So it's making the application looks better. Also, it making the application relevant to what they need. So keywords and new terminologies in your field, and then they are related to as one of the goal. But since every goal, new terminologies, new discussion paradigms are coming up. So you have to look for those things to be unique in your application, which I would say. Otherwise, ChatGPT and other things will make everyone application, especially in this time, very good.
Okay, I think I like that perspective. Obviously, you have to do your research, know what you're applying for, look out for the keywords, what the world is saying about that thing you really want to study, then tie it towards your interests and your goals. Okay, if Adenika is still on the call, can you add one or two things to this session, knowing you are a fresh scholar? So is that something you think made your application stand out? Is she still here?
I don't think she's there again. I think
Okay.
the network is fluctuating, so.
Oh, okay. So probably if she's back, I don't know. Okay, yeah, so we can just move on to the next one. Okay, yeah, like I said, please, you can drop your questions in the chat box. And when it's time for question and answer, you can also still raise your hands, but we're trying to, wow, time is actually fast spent. So let me just see how I can. Okay, yeah, so yes, he had said something around interview after the first selection. So is it the same way for, I know everybody, I think we are all in different schools. You all are in different schools and the like. So you can talk about your own experience. Was it just selection and you were just notified you've gotten the scholarship, or you had to do an interview? What was the interview like and all of it? So since Joshua just said something, so we start with you and we go back to others.
Okay, so I think, I don't know, for my side, for my program, we had an interview. I think interview is quite an important part of it. So I think there was an interview, I think I think it's
But
interview.
guy, you did 2 interviews.
Yeah, I did 2 interviews. I did
Oh,
in
sorry, two
2019.
interviews, the same school or
No,
different
no,
schools?
I did interview twice for DAD scholarship. I won this DAD scholarship the second time of my application.
Oh,
So
that's an interesting story. Okay, please shed more light on that.
so I think the interview stage is quite important. Is I think is the most important part of the of the scholarship because I used to have I used to hear something that, oh, once you get to the scholarship, once you get to the interview, come on, everything is like that. So I don't know, not everybody. I don't know. I think the interview actually plays a role in the selection process because I also had someone who I guided this year who also did the interview but was not selected. So I think the interview is also very important. It's maybe the most important part of the scholarship of you
So
winning the
like
scholarship.
intern, probably maybe they were professors in the department, or maybe they are just dad, maybe from dad. Maybe you understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
Okay, yeah,
oh,
the interview is being done by professors in the program in the institute. So I think after the interview, they send the maybe they have some sort of hierarchy. I don't know, maybe some sort of
Okay.
hierarchy while presenting the names to the DAD
Uh,
because they will tell you that this interview is just something we have to conduct because the DAD asks us to conduct it. So we'll send as much names to the DAD and the DAD will do the final selection. So I don't know. I think maybe after the interviews they send the details to the DAD. But my mentor is there would have more information. So
you also did your interview, so respect you.
yeah, I think I can add to what he said because I've had a bit of experience too. I mean, after getting my scholarship, so I got to know maybe how these selections are actually done. Like then, yeah. So one thing you have to have it in mind that even if you are selected for the interview, you still need to compete for that position, right? Because during my time, when I got selected, so I realized that okay, the way DAT do their selections. So for my programs, so when I checked the demography, I realized that okay, I was the only one selected from let me say Western Africa, right? So my other colleagues they are from East Africa, Asian, South America, right? So what I noticed is that most time when they select a candidate for the interview for the next stage, so even within your country, they could have selected two or three. So you still have to battle it out. And it could just be that maybe there is just only one available slot for your country. So you still have to to take the interview very important. And when I had my interview, it was very tense. Yeah, because that time I was trying to ensure that I did not have any problem for my side. I mean, I could remember that day that the interview I had to do it 3 times. Yeah, the network actually fucked me up. And before the interview, I made sure okay, I had everything ready. I had subscribed to Glow, MTN, that if this network is going bad, I can usually switch. But trust me, it happened, what I was actually trying to prevent it happened. Then the professor told me that, oh, Ridwan, calm down. They know, they understand, okay, we have these issues in our country, right? So the professor told me, oh, Ridwan, calm down. I mean, I can see that you are having a network problem. Okay, maybe we can reconnect. So we connected again, then the same thing happened. So we did the interview 3 times. And after the interview, so he told me that okay, they still have to do a kind of selection again because they selected some other candidates for this, I mean, for the same scholarship. So after the interview, then I think I waited for some months before I got any feedback from them. So another thing to also say is that I don't know for my program. So once you are selected for interview, then the name of your interviewer, the professor that will interview you, will also be mentioned, right? Just if I'm correct, right? Yeah. So what I did that time, as soon as I got the mail, then I know who will interview me. So I quickly went to my program like website. I looked for the name of professors. Then I realized that, oh, this professor like is well granted, like in water quality. Like I tried to look for his area of specializations. So I wanted to prepare, okay, let me know where these questions can actually come from. And you have to be very careful, like from my experience. So if you have put anything in your CV, like maybe your work experience, like make sure like you go through them very well. Don't think like they will not call you. I mean, they of course the experience might be different for most of us here, but for me, most of my questions were centered on my work experience. So that's what I can say.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
also about the interview, it is very important. Like you said, everything you write on the what's it called on the in your application must be correct, or if not, I don't know, you must know anything you write in the application. Because I remember that the first question I was asked after confirming my name was my volunteering experience in 2016. That was the first question I was asked. Oh, Joshua, I can see that you said you did something around watch for prisons. Was that what motivated you to apply for this scholarship? And I was like, oh, wow. Do you understand? So anything you write there, just be well prepared for the interview, and because any question can come to you. And like you said, it is also very important to also check the profile um, of the
The
professor, because
interviewer. Yeah.
because sometimes there are professors who like if you're telling me you do something in my line, and this is something that I'm a full professor of, I can tell you whether you are lying or not. So I think it's also very important to go to put your best in the interview. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Omobalale.
Okay, thank you. I have a different experience from you guys. You guys were lucky to get the name of your professor. I didn't get any. So in my case, what happened was we were shortlisted. We were 19 people. We were shortlisted from about 339 candidates. So when we got the email for the interview, my heart raced. So I prepared for it. I could remember I had a seminar, a physical seminar. I had already prepared to defend my seminar, and I was supposed to have an interview. So I left the seminar, went back into my office to have the interview. Luckily, it went well. But guys, they were not asking me about my motivation letter, my CV. They went into economic theories. They went into econometrics. They went into the foundational part. Like, I mean, if I had not studied economics and if I wasn't grounded in what I knew, it would have been a flop. Even though I knew everything that they were asking, guys, I was tense because these were four professors. For God's sake, I didn't even know which question was coming. As I'm answering this one, I've not even finished. Another professor is raising another question from elsewhere. It was just 15 minutes. That 15 minutes has been the most tense 15 minutes of my life. So after the interview, I needed to tell a friend that my sister, I don't know what happened. She was like, well, just calm down. Just calm down. All will be well. And luckily, I got in. And afterwards, a question came into my email that in my CV, I wrote a different date that of when I graduated. And on my certificate I sent them, it was a different date entirely. So this brings me back to what Joshua and Ridwan said about they will check your details. They will screen it very well. If there is any discrepancy, my daddy, you are off. So what I did was I needed to send an email explaining to them that, oh, the date I was conferred the certificate is what is in my CV, the official date. However, for first class students in my school, they've already printed the certificate about 3 months before the convocation day. So I needed to make that explanation really well. That was what saved me. So if the explanation is not aligning, guys, it's off entirely. So you just have to be very careful about every single thing. Be careful about the date you did some certifications. Be careful about even your NYSC date. Be very ensure that everything aligns. And even if it's not aligning, let there be a good explanation, like a formal explanation. Even if they want to go back to your school to confirm, then they would see that you are right. So just be careful. Read all right before an interview, you. Please read everything. If in case you don't know your supervisor, read know what you've studied in school. Thank you.
Dot your
Okay.
I's, cross your T's.
Okay, also because we're talking about interviews now, and I remember that in my CV, because of course I did a 5-year course in my for my undergraduate, and we I don't know, like other people who studied geology, they don't do like a 6-month IT, but because I attended the University of Technology, so we did 6-month IT. So the work experience was there, and the question was, why did you have so much gap? You did your IT in 2016. The next work experience was 2019 or thereabout, or 2017. What happened? So you have to be ready to like answer questions about maybe
Yeah.
any gap. Because when they asked me, I was like, oh, sorry, I have to clarify that. It was an undergraduate internship. It's part of the course for us to do
Requirements,
this.
yeah, very
For us to do this.
precise.
So you should be ready for any question. I remember the professor asking me questions about my day-to-day activities at work. I don't know. He asked me, "Oh, I can see you at home. Why did you go to work? Why not at work?" So you have to be ready to answer questions, because if they ask you some of those questions and you're like, they feel like
Right.
you're lying. Even if you're lying and they see that you are lying truly, they feel like,
Your
oh,
countenance.
do you understand now? So you have to be ready for the interview, because the interview is everything. I think it's
Yes.
everything. If not,
Yeah.
I don't know. The interview is very important for the.
Hmm. Okay, Syed.
Yeah, talking about interviews, for me, the same thing had happened because I had, a gap in my professional experience. I had one project which ended, and I had 2 or 3 months gap for the next project which started. So they asked me because they saw my thing and they said, "How did you what did you do between these? Why there was a gap? Whether you yourself you left the job or what happened?" So and then they didn't ask me on the first interview. For the first interview, of course, I was ready. I had in my office the internet. And the first second interviews, even I was not I don't have even internet facility. So they called me on my phone number, and then they were very kind and they called me on my number. And also the network was terrible. So I was really afraid. I can remember that I was in petrol pump while talking to them. So I was explaining them, and then thankfully I told them everything and they understood it. So yeah, this is very important that everything, the date should be aligned. What you have done, the date should be aligned. Even what I would say that your scanning should be proper. If we are saying we are scanning from mobile and one person is scanning from a scanner, that also makes difference. So each and everything, and this point will make your application unique and stand out other than the other people. So these were very important. And for interview, yeah, interview is very different for everyone. For me, it was balanced interview, which I thought that would be technical from my field. There was really very few questions, 2 or 3. The rest of were from me, were how would you adjust to the culture, regard the culture thing, how would you observe the culture show, what do you expect in the German culture, how you integrate different people. So it was literally surrounding that. So yeah, that is my experience from the interview.
I see there's like little alignment and lots of differences, but at the end of the day, I think the most important thing I'm going to grab from what you guys have said is make sure there are no lies in your application. You are true to everything you are saying, from your motivational letter to your CV to even like your countenance. You have to be sincere. I think from what you guys have said, it just shows that if you know your onions, they really want to hear from you and be sure that you are the perfect person for this scholarship, because I can't imagine someone going as far as calling your mobile phone for an interview. I'm sure we understand at times that's just the end if they can't reach you. Then calling you the third time, the second time, yeah, it just shows that you guys, I love my heart for you guys. Like,
And they can
so
even ask you, they can even ask you, are you sure you're a Nigerian? Are you sure?
Like
Are you sure
serious
you're from
life?
Nigeria? Are you sure you were born in Ibadan? You were born in Ile-Ife? Are you sure? So confirm to me your address. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, why are you asking me my address? Do you know where I'm talking about? So I think just be ready, and anything you feel, anything your mind is telling you, remove this thing, please remove it.
Yeah. Even
So
your personal information too, like you pay attention to them. Because like I remember like the first question I was asked, like they asked me to confirm my like date of birth, right? Yeah. So they know like most time, like most interviewer, they know most time like okay, most of us like will have focused, prepared for all these technical questions. So all these little questions too, they matter. Yeah. So make sure like they said, make sure like all the information like on your application, like you know everything. Yeah. So do not leave anything like unturned.
Mm. Abib, do you have something for us?
Not really. I mean, it's everything they said is true, so I agree with everything. You have to
Mhm.
prepare.
Okay. We're actually moving towards the end. So like, was there something you wish you knew better? Or yeah, obviously you got the scholarship. Okay, first let me even ask, is there anyone that's maybe got it on second trial or everybody got it on first trial?
I just told you I got it on the second trial.
Oh yeah, sure.
So,
Sorry. Yeah, you said that.
you have to understand that most times it's not as if you have a bad application or not that you are bad. Sometimes things don't come the first time. So 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 I got it the second time, and don't just give up, because if I had given up, I would not be here. So I know
Hmm.
a lot of people most times like you can be tired. Like when I tell people like, come on, I've been applying for scholarships for the past 5 to 6 years, and they're like, huh? Why? And they're like, why? I'm like, some people get rejection just too, and they're like, come on.
I
Yeah,
give
like,
up.
I was talking with Ridwan some 2 hours or 3 hours ago, and I told him that somebody just did his convocation, I think last week, and he was saying he applied to 336 scholarships before he got the one he just did convocation. I was like, how many of us would do 336 applications? I got a time that I remember applying for a particular scholarship for 4 consecutive years. So you have to understand that in as much as you're putting your best, don't give up. There's something always says it's anybody that gives up that
No, fuck
loses.
up.
Yeah, fuck up. I don't want to use that word. So don't give up.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people are tired. They feel like, oh, let me just try. Let me just. But if you're saying let me just try, you're not putting your best. So it's
Hmm.
very important that you do not give up. That is what I have to say. I don't.
Hmm.
For someone like me, I always tell people, if you give up, now you are the one that like, don't just give up. So
Hmm.
I mean, I've been applying for a lot of times, and you feel like, come on. I got to the interview stage. Ask read one. We're already preparing to meet up. Ask Khabib. I interview, and I was like, and the prof was saying, oh, don't worry. Um, we feel like you're someone we need. We'll send the details to the DAD, and then the DAD will select who they want, and and it happened. So of course, don't give up. Always put in your best. And I remember after the first time, I keep on asking Ridwan, I keep on asking Habib. I tell them a lot of times, oh, because the funniest thing was, we had 6 years you must get your what's it called, your certificate in 6 years. And I told them that the last time I applied for the DAD scholarship that I got was the last time that I would have applied for DAD scholarship in my life. So I told them specifically that I just want to put I was always asking them, even I remember we did something on my application a day or two, or like less than 24 hours to submission. Because I was just asking them, what can we make to make this thing better? So why I'm saying this is because there are people who have maybe applied for DAD scholarship before on this platform. Some people might have even done their what's it called? They might have done their interview. They're like, come on, I'm tired. I don't want, let me just try. Let me just try. You don't just try, you put in your best.
Hmm.
So just put in your best. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
I think
I
I would
think in
also
a
need to
yeah, yeah.
add something. My story is kind of unique. You see, I did 15 applications aside the DAD EPOS application. One and five, 15. And there was a day I woke up in the morning before my morning prayers. I got a rejection from a school in the US. While I was about sleeping that night, I got another rejection. So, and to burst your mouth, which was on the 1st of the month, like I think it was on the 1st of March. Was on the 1st of March. So it was like, oh, this is a new month. Why am I getting double rejection? See, guys, it's actually gonna come like a wave. And it is when you are not looking towards it, that is when these things happen. So just put your best foot forward. For all of my 15 applications, I applied as if that was the only application I was doing. And of course, I got double rejections. I got rejected, and I got some other
Yeah.
before I finally chose one out of the 4 that I got. So just keep going. You never can tell. You definitely get it. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like, of course, it's very important to not give up. That's, for in everything in life, it's very important. For scholarship, particularly, it's very important. But having said that, it is very important to have a guide. Whatever, you may be very talented person. You may be, a very good writer. You may be a good reader. You may be, very everything you do well. But if you don't, find a guide, a person who have already done that, it's very difficult for you. For instance, for me, and I hope that every one of us, the scholar, have had the guide who support me. Yeah, I worked my best. I did what he said or she said, the guy. But the guy is very important. The person who has already got the scholarship, if you're lucky, you try to get in touch with the person. Of course, don't disturb him, 24/7. But yes, just ask him at your application. Just take feedback from him. Just take feedback for everything, even for how you fill the form, how you have, written the motivational letter, how you have, uh, arrange your application in chronological order. This everything matters in the application. So you have to have a guide. And also, Rumi says that a person who travel without a guide, 2 days would take 100 years for him. So the guide and the person who has already gone through the scholarship is very important. But please, it doesn't mean that everyone should always, text and ask. Of course, you can, but it's also very difficult here to manage time. So you just do it systematically, either like what you have done, you arrange a meeting like this, or if you are doing, then arrange a meeting and then ask the people who have already done, and then you can take good advice, and then that would be easier and that would be much, profound than you're doing yourself very hard. So this is it.
Okay,
Thank you.
I think
Yeah.
Habib said something, and I think it's
Yeah.
very important. And I think Said just mentioned the same thing. I always tell people, especially because I think we have quite a lot of the participants in this call from Nigeria, and I always tell people that I don't think there are scholarships worldwide where you don't have a past scholar or current scholar that is from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and so people will tell you, oh, where can I find them? Man, most of them are on LinkedIn. There's
Yeah.
no way you can, I don't think there is a program or a scholarship in this world that you don't have a past, current, or maybe, I don't know, or future applicant that is from Nigeria. So go on LinkedIn, search for them, send them a mail, please, I'm this. And don't be, some people, they feel like once you have a mentor or once you have somebody that can guide you, the person will do everything for you. You have to understand that person also have a lot of things with their busy schedules. So just be serious. Send them a message, please. I want to apply for this thing. Some people would not respond. I understand that. But of course, just send them. But there are ways to also mail people that people who will respond to you. So just send them a message, please. I want to apply for this. I've done this. I've done that. I've done this. I also think you can assist me and be ready to work, because people just don't want to work. They want this person to do it for you. So just look for someone who is currently in that program. They understand it better. If they have friends who are from other countries who can share their experiences with you. Oh, don't do this, do this. If you do this, they will not be called. Like Abib mentioned that if you're applying for the EPOS scholarship, sometimes they will ask you, oh, after you're done the interview, they will ask you, they put a trap and they ask you, oh, after your program, do you want to do a PhD immediately? If you say yes, you'll be considered. That is the truth, because they understand that it is development related. You have to go back to your home
Go
country
back. Yeah.
and you make use of it before even thinking of a PhD. So if they put you in a trap and they ask you, after this program, You want to do a PhD immediately, you want to stay in Germany. Germany is very beautiful. You can get to work. Do you want to stay in Germany? And you say yes. That kind of person will not get the scholarship. So you have to like ask questions. Oh, I want to do this. Please, can you assist me? Can you guide me? Can you check my beg people, beg them, please. I know you are busy. Help me check. I know the times I disturbed grade one. When I got to this program, that was when I knew that region was actually helping me because it's kind of crazy and somebody still like attends to you every time. So you may be lucky to meet someone like Ridwan that would put your matter on their head and say, okay, I message Habib in midnight. They don't have choice. They respond to me. They helped me. So you can be lucky to get someone like that. If you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm talking to Ridwan, I'm talking to Habib, they are not responding to me. Look for somebody. Look for somebody that maybe is from Pakistan, like say, ask them questions. Some of them will answer you. It's not compulsory your mentor
Yeah,
or your guide or someone that is guiding you is from your country.
but yeah, here I just want to, especially, I just want to address the people who want to apply the aspire, please, one thing is for sure that you have to work 95 or 99% yourself. Some people just, they ask me, for instance, some people contact me and they say, how's the weather in Germany? So, it's very difficult for us to manage the time. We cannot answer everything. Like you just do research, everything is there. You have to do the research yourself. You have to read each and everything. If you don't understand what is written there or what they need, then you can ask. It's not like that how it is. It's everything is online now. Everything is online. This is very easy to just understand everything. But if you don't understand the process or that time you ask, and before asking, some people just say hi, where are you living, how are you. It's that you have to introduce yourself, what you want, why you have contacted me. It makes, because here it's very difficult, life is very difficult, you have to manage many things, studies, everything. So please, especially you guys who just want to apply, be serious. Everyone, I think, would like to help you, but please don't just bother them with what you're playing, how it's there, how can I stay in German, like these things. That's very important.
Is what they've said is so important. There is a guy in my DM currently. He sent me, "Hi dear, I want to apply for this.
Oh, God.
Send me different motivation letters." I was like, "Do you even know who you are talking to? I'm in Nigeria, for God's sake. I've been a teacher and I know communication etiquette. You are calling me dear. You don't even know." Stuff like that. Please avoid it. Just go very formal and very polite and do your research. Please, we beg you. We are battling with academics, research work, and everything is there. My neck is full, so don't hurt. Do your research. Thank you.
Imagine, like just like Sian said, do 95% of the job. Like let's make the work of this person that wants to review your profile very easy. Person will even be highly motivated to get to do this job because they see that you've done your assignments. Like you have almost like the perfect application. So it just left for them to use their experience to like make it better and all of those things. Like I can imagine when I was reaching out to the panelists, I reached out to almost 12 people, and I was not doing it the same time because I did not want the 12 of them to give me the same response. And at the end of the day, I have to send like a reject message because funny enough, how would I put it? It's maybe not for me, but I know someone else is going to need this and will benefit greatly from it. So I had to like do it systematically. I got some, okay, yes, oh, I'm really interested, but I don't have time, I'm traveling and all of this. And that's the same way you will get these responses from people that wants to review your application. You know what it means me taking 1 hour, 30 minutes of their time, a Saturday for that matter. I don't even want to start with that, but at the end of it all, we actually appreciate your presence. So we'll just be ending with like final words for use from you. So what do you think? Just maybe something you feel you skipped or something you feel you just need to know, or maybe there are other opportunities you feel they can actually explore that you've seen, or so just like a closing word from you. I think Omobalale is on my screen right now, so you would
Okay.
so go first.
So I'll just end with um do not put all of your eggs in one basket. Of course, I'm a Christian. The Bible says put your eggs in one basket and focus on God. But here, as talking about applications, guys, diversify. This last year was my 4th year applying to different schools, and each year I did nothing less than 10 applications. So last year was 15. I applied to the US, I applied to the UK, I did Canada, I did France, I did Germany. So apply, like, spread your tentacles. Ensure you are doing the best thing everywhere, because you never can tell which one will come. So if you just focus on one particular school, it may not come for you that year. So just, spread your tentacles, spread everywhere, apply to universities and courses that speak to you as an individual, your passion, your interest, your goals actually also work well here. And I would also advise that you have a close-knitted circle of people who are like-minded like you, that you hold yourself accountable. You have mentors, you have people who can tell you you are sleeping on this opportunity. The deadline is in 2 weeks, the deadline is in 3 weeks. Have you applied? What else should I help you do? So I have a very close community of people. Then also reach out to people online, please. Kindly reach out. And I know success is going to be yours at the end of the day. Thank you guys for having me.
So I just want to add something before leave, as my friends are waiting for me and they are going out. Therefore, I'm just leaving on time. Therefore, I would say, I would firstly thanks what you have, done. This is really very good, especially again, I would say for our countries. And we are, for me, we are always there to, what we can do. But the thing is, please, if you need another session or another thing like that, if you can say in advance, we are there. So for the scholarship, the people who want the scholarship, as you mentioned, that you have to really, it's a process. Again, I would say it's a process. It's not like you will get it one application, you just get it in one country or in one scholarship. There are many, many scholarships. And also within, if you come to a country, within the country, there are other scholarships than that. Of course, the AD is, I think, the best scholarship, especially for the masters. Because the other scholarship you have to go here and there, and then it's not very good. But that should be and is the best scholarship, should be your first preference, but it should not always be your only preference. So you have to also search for other scholarships, and there are many scholarships. The only thing is you have to read them, and you have to contact the people who have already got the scholarship, and contact them after doing the research work, and then you will get it. So I again thank you all for this nice session, and I just want to leave, and you can just continue your discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll read one. Oh,
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think for my end, I believe like we have spoken about most of the things. Then it's also important that we also mention that another critical component of your application document is your recommendation letter from your employer. It's quite important to like of course like your CV, your letter of motivation matters, then your recommendation letter to like also matters. So if you are getting a recommendation letter from your employer, so make sure like okay, most of what you put in your CV, your letter of motivation are also in coherent with your recommendation letter too. Yeah, because it really matters. I mean, for my application, what I would say actually helped me, I would say like my CV, then my recommendation letter, like my boss put in a very good recommendation letter for me. And I think like that actually helped my applications. And just to echo what has been said already, I mean, I remember the first time I was applying. Of course, like I was lucky enough. I was telling Joshua that most of the scholarships I've applied for, like I only applied once, I got them. Yeah, probably, I don't know. But what I would say is like most times it's good to have doubts, but don't disqualify yourself. Yeah, I mean, it's DAD is very competitive, right? So I always tell people like apply. So you've got nothing to lose and you've got everything to gain. I mean, if you apply, if you lose it, then you try again. So you keep applying, you only need the yes. So don't disqualify yourself, and you must have this conviction that you can win it. So that will actually like motivate you to put effort into your applications. Yeah, I think from what Wambale said, I agree with what he said. Actually, like, okay, spread your tentacles, like too many applications and yeah, even if you are submitting many applications, like you also have to like make sure like each application, like they are specific, like they are not generic. So make it very strong. Even if you're applying to 10 applications, like make it like this application, like each and all the application, like they are very strong, like you need it. Because for me, I can remember like after I was done with my masters, like yeah, so I mean, I saw a lot of opportunities online, right? So I was very specific about which application do I submit. So most time I always look for application that I know that okay, maybe I meet up with, let me say, 90% of the requirements. So that way I can be sure that okay, if I put in this application, then I should have a yes. So try and spread your spectacles, but I swear, make sure like you submit a very strong applications. Like most of the scholarship, like don't think like okay, you're only competing with like I mean with few people. I mean global pool of talents like all over the world. So your application like you need to be very strong before you can even make it to the interview. So that's what I would say. So don't disqualify yourself and make sure like you put a lot of effort into your applications and have someone that will guide your applications. So you really need it a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Ridwan. Like, I really, really want to say a big and special thank you for staying up late.
Oh, thank you. My eyes are closing already.
Thank you, thank you. You can
Yeah.
actually leave. I think we're actually done. And Joshua,
Yeah, they've
something
said it.
from you.
They've said it. I think I have to emphasize. We forgot about that. We forgot the recommendation is very important because I've seen someone who the employer wrote a recommendation letter for the same DAD, and it was just maybe 4 or 5 lines, and everything the employer was saying is a good boy, is willing to learn,
Could you help
is
me?
always is peaceful, is
Are you
humble.
serious?
Yes. So when the guy told me that, and I think he applied the same year I applied, and I sent him my own recommendation letter. I was like, oh, there's no way we would have won this thing with this his own. So I feel it's very important also, like the DAD will also ask that that the what's it called, the applicant should show that there is also a job that is waiting for them. So not that once you leave the country, you don't have a job. So whenever your recommender is writing something for you, tell them to specifically state it that, oh, come on, once it's done with this program, we are willing and able, demand and supply, we are willing and able to employ the person when it's done with this program. And also maybe mention things like once it's done with this program, this is what it would do for us to our company. So they feel like, okay, this person has a sort of importance to the company and to his country. Not that, oh, we just want to push him away to go abroad and the like. So just ensure that the letter of recommendation is strong, not 4 lines, not 5 lines, not is humble, is easygoing, is not playful. Do you understand now? So, and also like we say every time, be hungry for success. Be hungry. Like don't just say, let me just apply. People are applying for scholarship. Let me apply too. No. Be hungry. I want to win this thing. If you see applications, I tell people if you see applications, I've seen some applications and I look like come on. Ah. So don't compete as if don't write as if you are competing with just 5 people. Look at it, you're competing with thousands of people. Do you understand now? So be hungry and hungry and ready for success. So I think everything will be okay.
Be hungry and ready for success. I think I like that closing word. So thank you, everybody. Like it works best when you have a room full of brain, like people you can tap from. Look at how we almost skipped that recommendation letter and we got this great hint and support at the last minute. Like I really want to say a big thank you to all of you. We really, really appreciate this. And I would always say this at the end of any session. The last best time to apply was last year, and the next best time is right after this session. And as they said, you can start your assignment early, but there's no race to when the first person to submit. Just make sure you have your deadline at heart and make sure you submit your application way, way, way ahead. And the only way to know if you would back this scholarship is by applying. You really cannot just leave your documents in there and expect to get a scholarship. I don't know, probably works for some people. We can't say. So Zainab, the floor is yours to talk about our upcoming events and we close out on
I
this.
can go up, right?
Yeah, please. Yes, you can. Thank you
Yeah,
very
thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Nice
I really
connecting
enjoyed the
with you all.
session. Yeah.
Zainab, or maybe I just close out. Okay, yeah, so as she said earlier, we have our mentorship program ongoing for undergraduate students. We would be opening our call for mentors next in maybe a few months' time for next year. We look forward to mentoring and engaging lots of people. We have activities ongoing, and so if you want to watch a replay of this, you need to follow us on our social media handles. We're going to put it on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and it's going to go live on our YouTube. If not this night, as I said, most likely we'll get our social media manager to put it up tomorrow or latest Monday morning. You check it and you have the information at your beck and call. So if you want to partner with us for inquiries, for sponsorship, please send an email to info@missibsfoundation.org. Thank you very much. And we wish you all the best in your application. You can actually share your success story with us. We would be grateful. Okay, cheers and bye. Have a lovely day.